Good morning, 6 AM. Today's vlog is going to be a little bit different because unlike when I'm normally on my own, today I'm surrounded by some other crazy buggers. Here's Rob down here. Say hello, Rob.
Hey guys, how are we?
A few photographers. Today is photo walk day, and unfortunately we've been met with some pretty yucky weather. So what that means is that I actually haven't got my camera out, but I could see a few of our photo walkers are having a go. As you can see, under the umbrella. Say g'day. Try to make the best of this weather. And down this end here, lucky they all brought their umbrellas along for this photo walk. There we go, wave guys, there we go. Let's have a look and see how we go with images over here. Let's see. So what are we doing here? What are we shooting?
I'm just trying to get that rock with some water around, with a little bit long exposure.
Some long exposures?
Yeah,
yep.
Like 3 seconds or something.
Great stuff. 3 seconds, all right.
Yeah, roughly around 3 seconds.
And are you using any filters to do that today?
Yeah, I don't think I need any filters looking at the sky, but yeah, I got a filter in my backpack if I need. If the sun comes out, probably, you know, I'll be using that for sure.
Nice stuff. And here's the man responsible for this wet warning. So Rob, what's going on here, mate?
Well, it's raining for one.
So pretty normal for a photo walk organised?
For a photo walk, yeah.
By Rob.
I wasn't cancelling it after the last one. We had an amazing sunset after cancelling it earlier in the morning.
So we're actually down at a place called the Entrance Ocean Pool Baths. And I can imagine that if it was, you know, nice weather, it would be an amazing place. It would definitely be an amazing place to shoot if there was a nice sunrise. But as you can see, it's extremely grey and the weather's not so good. So I'm sort of optimistic that it may clear a little bit soon and we can do something, you know, with some long exposure techniques. But unfortunately, sometimes with landscape photography, the weather just doesn't go your way. Alrighty, so what do we got going on here? Enjoying the rain?
Yeah. Oh, we shooting great fun.
So what are we shooting here? What are we got? Tell us a bit about your composition. What are we doing?
Just trying to get the rock pools. Just seeing what I can do here. I've actually played with a new toy I bought just last week, which is a 9-stop neutral density filter. So have played with it, just see what we can do with the water.
You must have like a 20-minute exposure today.
It's only a couple of minutes, it's not too bad, but it's interesting. I haven't played with it yet, so we're going to find out what it does. So.
Very cool.
Know what it's supposed to do, but haven't had the chance to play with it yet.
Very cool. And a couple of other guys found some shelters under a rock here. Here they are.
Just getting some portraits done.
Doing some portraits?
Some portraits against the water.
Yeah.
Giving like a nice dreamy look.
Yeah, okay.
Using my beautiful, fantastic lens cleaner here.
Good stuff.
And yeah.
Shooting with a Sony. What Sony is that?
Sony A7 II.
How do you find that?
Very good.
Yeah?
Very nice.
What do you like about it most?
Full frame. Nice compact.
Yeah.
And awesome picture quality.
Oh, good stuff.
So, yeah, good stuff, yeah.
Fantastic. Well, it is a very wet morning down here at the entrance and everyone's trying to make do with the weather and get the best shots they can. And unfortunately the light hasn't really turned out the way we'd like it, but as you can see, it is a beautiful spot. There's lots of different options when it comes to shooting in this particular location. So talk us through your composition here, Rob.
So obviously there's a little bit of stuff happening in the sky. I was hoping for, I don't know, the lights are quite strange at the moment. We've got some sort of like a sepia type thing happening here. Again, I'm really stretching this because I'm trying for a photo. But basically I came in here because you got the, I'm using a wide angle lens, so 16-35mm, which is a really good lens. It gives me quite a range that I can capture with my photo. So I'm actually getting the stairs going down this way. So you've got some leading lines. With the HDR and things, I'll have some textures in here in the water, which is quite cool. I am still getting out here, which is good, but then the guy with the camera and the umbrella was actually in the middle of that, which was actually really quite an interesting little shot. So don't know whether I got it before he moved, but that was the idea for coming in here and trying to take a couple of photos.
Well, the rain seems to have settled down, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and find a spot to take a panoramic image. And I believe there's like a lookout or a viewing platform around here somewhere. I think I've just found it. That's the stairs going up there. So it's still raining, still sprinkling, but you know, the clouds are at least a little bit interesting, and the rain has slowed down, so we'll give it a go. We'll see what happens. To be completely honest, I've taken hardly any photos this morning. In fact, I've just taken my first shot, and what I've done is sort of set the tripod up here on this railing, a bit of a lookout, to try and get a bit of a panoramic image of the pools. And sort of what I've gone for is something sort of like that. And my settings, what I've done is I've gone to f32 to slow the shutter right down rather than putting a filter on, because I'm not really convinced I'm going to get a great photo anyway, given this weather. The rain is very persistent and we're just not getting the chance to take any great photos. You know, the clouds are sort of, you know, you can see some definition of the clouds, so maybe something will work out, but at this stage I'm not too confident that we're going to get any great photos. So, you know, I'm just doing it because I'm here. I got up early, I may as well take a shot. As far as photography goes, today's a bit of a washout. You know, I got up at 3:30 this morning to head up to the entrance on the Central Coast for a photo walk, and you would have seen a few shots from that photo walk, or a little bit of footage. And now I've just come over to a place called Long Jetty. Long Jetty is one of my favourite locations on the Central Coast. And unfortunately the weather's just not in our favour at the moment, but I don't know if you can see that, but it's a great big long jetty out there, and that's why it's called Long Jetty. It's one of the few places on the Central Coast where you can shoot into the sun at sunset over the water, and so it's a very, very popular spot for photographers. I thought what I'd do is, considering it's a bit of a washout and there's not much photography happening, it's still raining right now, is I'll just give you my thoughts on this F Stop Ajna Bag. Before I get stuck into telling you about the F Stop Ajna Bag, you know, my history with bags has been wide and varied, and I don't think there's any one bag that fits every photographer's need. So it's really important that you know, you think about what your needs are, what your mission is, I guess, with the bag that you're going to be using, and decide which bag is going to be best for you. What I can say is this is probably the best bag I've ever owned. It's comfortable, it takes all my gear, even it's got about 15 kilos in there at the moment with the tripod strapped to the side, and the bag is still extremely comfortable. There's quite a few good features that I think are really well thought out. One of the main things is it's a bit like a hiking bag, so it has these straps down here, which I know a lot of bags do, but the way that it straps across the body means that it's extremely comfortable, and it, you know, supports its own weight very, very well, and I think that's a brilliant design. The other thing I like about this bag is they've thought about it being more than just for photography gear, and as you can see here, I've got my water bladder inside. This holds a couple of litres of water, saves me having to have a bottle separately attached to the bag, and of course if I want to drink, I don't need to think about taking a bottle out of the bag. I just grab the mouthpiece and I have a drink, and I think that's a really good idea. It's also got a whole bunch of D-shackles and things on here, which allows you to attach all sorts of accessories as you're, you know, hiking around or doing what it is you do when you're doing photography, and I think that's a really good idea as well. The way the tripod attaches is probably the best I've seen in any bag, and it makes it really comfortable to have your bag attached to the side of the bag. Sorry, your tripod attached to the side of the bag. Now, the thing that the F Stop bag is known for mostly is the thing inside called an ICU. Unlike most traditional photography bags, this one opens up from the back rather than from the front. And what that means is that you're never putting the back of your bag down on the dirt or in the wet. So when you put it on, you always got a nice clean back. And what happens is inside this bag is this thing called an ICU. This is an internal camera unit, and you know, the good thing about this is that you can get different size ICUs, and I don't know if you can see that, but it's actually a separate unit, complete separate unit in there. It does have a lid. The lid is folded underneath it, so you can take that unit out. For example, let's say you were, you know, had to carry it on, and they wouldn't allow you because of the weight or something. You could take the internal unit out with your camera in it and take it on the flight with you, and you could check your bag in if you wanted to. this is the large slope, I think it is, yeah, large sloped internal unit. So you can see the ICU comes all the way up to the top here. Right now I've got my D810 in there with a 45mm tilt shift. There's a wide angle lens there. I've got the macro lens there, my 70-200 and a few other bits and pieces. So, you know, it comfortably fits everything in there that you need. And I find, you know, the only downfall of this system is if you've got small bits and pieces and you do put the bag on its back, sometimes it falls out of the ICU. So you just got to make sure you've got all the straps done, so everything stays put as you move the bag around. I really like the way the tripod attaches. It's a nice secure fitment. You've got these two straps that you can tighten, and the leg goes inside this zippered area. So, you know, and this is not a small tripod, this is a large tripod, but it's very easy to get the tripod in and out of there. You know, and I find that that's a really good system. And you've got one of those pockets on either side, so you can sort of put your tripod in either side, whatever it is, you know, that you're carrying, depending. You'd even be able to put something like an umbrella in there if you wanted to. The bag itself is waterproof, and you know, I find it very, very comfortable. As you can see, it's got all these straps, so you can adjust the shoulder heights and make sure it fits you nice and comfortably when you're out. You know, the worst thing you can have is an uncomfortable bag when you're out doing your photography. The other thing that I love about this bag is it has been made with, you know, all of these components, these other little pockets, for example. So, you know, this little pocket at the top here has the, you know, a little key clip thing in here, so you can put your keys in here if you wanted to, allowing you to put, so you know where they are, your wallet, maybe your phone, something like that. And then you've got this next part here, which is like the main component. So on top of the ICU, so this, if I lift that out, you'll see that the ICU is in there. Okay, that's the top of the ICU, and then of course I've got my water bladder, which is in its own little compartment down there. So it's, you know, it's been a really well thought out bag, and I think out of all the bags I've had, this is my favourite by far. Now, of course, if you're just going out on a little day trip with a small camera, this is going to be overkill. But for somebody who has a DSLR with 3 or 4 lenses, or maybe 2 bodies, and you're out for a decent day hike, and you're looking for a bag that's going to fit the bill, I can highly recommend the F Stop Ajna Bag. It's a good size. It's probably the perfect size for a weekend trip or a day trip for a DSLR shooter. So there you go, there's my thoughts on this bag. As a photographer who's been out and about for doing photos for about 20 years and carting gear around, I can honestly say this bag is my favourite bag to date. It's extremely comfortable, it's functional. These bags seem a bit pricey. I think sometimes it's worthwhile making the investment in the right gear to make your life easier. If you're thinking about getting yourself a new photography bag and you're wondering whether or not the F Stop bags are actually worth the money, it's a big thumbs up from me. It's pretty cool. It looks like I'm standing in the middle of the water. Why do they call it long jetty? Let me show you. There you go. It's an awfully long jetty, that's for sure. It's a pity the weather's so crappy this morning, because it's a long drive up here, and I haven't really been able to take any photos this morning, but you know, that's landscape photography, that's what you get.